Hi, I'm Tom from Clifto. In this video I'm going to be giving you a quick overview of the Cahoots scene management system for Unity. Cahoots is a solution to a long-standing problem of collaboration in Unity. As long-time Unity developers will know, it's been a real pain for years for teams to collaborate together on a single scene or level in Unity. Up till now, many teams find ways of working around this problem, but often in ways that hit their team's productivity. Many teams only allow one developer to work on a scene at a time, although there is no built-in way of enforcing this. It's easy to forget who has control of the scene and who doesn't. I've heard of teams using spreadsheets to keep track of who is using what scene, or using post-it notes on desks to do the same thing. These are all pretty primitive and error-prone solutions, and you can see how it's going to quickly break down as soon as you start to work on anything that's even slightly complex with more than a few scenes, which most games are. Another solution is to actually split up a level into multiple scenes, so you have a different scene for different logical sections of a level. Since Unity recently added support for multiple scene editing, this solution is even more attractive. It means that we can now have multiple team members working on the same level. Unfortunately, it doesn't solve the issue of controlling who owns what scene. If two people accidentally work on the same part of a level, and that's really easy to do, particularly when you're in bug fixing mode and constantly switching tasks, then someone's going to end up losing work. As well as the development time lost, this is also a massive morale loser. We still need some system to enforce only one team member is working on a part of the level at any one time. The other issue we have here is that even with such a system to control scene access, we still need to make sure that when you've finished working on a part of the level, that the next team member to work on it also has those changes before continuing to work on that scene themselves. To illustrate this, imagine the following situation. Let's assume that we have some way of telling our team whether or not they can work on a scene. One developer lets the team know that they're going to be using a scene and begins their work. As soon as they finish editing that scene, they let their team know that they can now use that scene. But what's happened to the changes in that scene? Presuming your team are using some sort of source control, and they really should be, there are a number of scenarios that can happen here. One is that your developer has committed their changes to their local repository, but forgotten to push those changes to the remote repository. Even though the next developer has pulled from the remote repository, they won't have received the latest changes to that scene. So as soon as they start working on that scene, someone's going to inevitably end up losing work. Another scenario is that the first developer has pushed their changes to the remote repository, but the second developer has forgotten to put in those changes, or has maybe pulled changes in from the wrong branch and doesn't have the latest changes to that scene. Again, someone's going to end up losing work. These are very real problems which I've experienced firsthand myself in the past. Even working with custom systems that control scene access, without knowing that teammates are up to date, it's all too easy to waste hours of time hitting and trying to resolve these issues, often inevitably at a crucial time to your project when you can't afford to be spending time untangling these sorts of issues. If these sound like familiar problems to you, then Cahoots is the answer. Cahoots allows you to divide up levels into multiple layers. It controls access to those layers, enforcing that only one teammate is using a layer at any one time. And most importantly, it does this in conjunction with your source control system, so that teammates are restricted from gaining access to layers that they do not have the latest changes for, regardless of whether anyone is currently working on that layer or not. It does all of this whilst integrating seamlessly with the Unity editor. If you don't have access to levels, you can still see them in the scene and game views, and you can still play the game as normal. But by controlling the access to different parts of the level, team members are unable to accidentally tread on each other's toes. Cahoots will speed up your development time by making sure that your team can collaborate together on the same levels, making sure that no one is blocked. Cahoots will make sure that no one loses work as a result of your team accidentally overwriting each other's work. And Cahoots will do all of this for you whilst providing minimal changes to your development workflow. With that said, let's take a look at a quick example of Cahoots running so you can see it in action. Here I have a demo of a game in development. The only real change in workflow is the Cahoots window here. This provides all the Cahoots operations you will need. Here we can see a list of various levels that I've set up in this project. You can see that Cahoots level doesn't have to correspond to a level in the game. They can represent any sort of scenes that you wish to split up. Here I'm just going to load the main level. As you can see, loading a level has updated the Cahoots window, and we can now see a number of layers this level is divided up into. Only the layer with my name next to it though, the lighting layer here, is available for me to edit, and you can see that this is reflected in the hierarchy view up here. So I can only drill down and see the game objects in the lighting layer. But I can only see and modify those game objects. So if I try and select or modify or move any of the other objects in any of the other layers that I don't have checked out, Cahoots literally won't let me do that. And if I try and manually add an object to a layer that I don't have checked out, then Cahoots is going to throw up a warning or an error and tell me I can't do that. So you literally can't change or modify or save layers that you don't have checked out, and this protects you against accidentally overwriting your other teammates' work. So if I want to modify that gameplay layer, I'm going to have to check it out. You'll see in the Cahoots window that it is available. If I try and check it out now, then I'm going to get the following error message. What this means is that someone else has made changes to the gameplay layer and hopefully check those changes into the remote repository. I haven't yet got those changes in my workspace, so without this check I would have just overridden someone else's work or faced a nasty merge later on. So this check has stopped me doing that. So if I click OK on that message and switch over to my source control system and get myself up to date, that will bring in the latest change from the remote repository, which hopefully includes the changes that my colleague has made. Okay, so we've got those changes now. So if I switch back to Unity, I'm just going to reload the level just to make sure everything's loaded up properly. And if I try and check out that layer now, you can see that it's given me access as I would expect it to. So I can now make whatever changes that I want to. And that's it for this video. If you like what you've seen so far and want to know more, then feel free to check out the other Cahoots videos in this channel, which take a more in-depth look into Cahoots. You can also check out the latest documentation online or visit our support forums. All the links for those will be down in the description of this video below. Thanks for watching.